Today I'm diving into a band that really rewrote the rules of rock music. A band whose influence stretches far beyond the borders of prog rock into metal, jazz, electronic and avant-garde music. That band is King Crimson, and today I'm going to explore why they are, without a doubt, the pioneers of progressive rock. It's 1969, the summer of love is behind us and rock music is evolving. The Beatles are pushing the limits of the studio, Pink Floyd are getting experimental, and something new is brewing in the underground scene. Bands were beginning to mix rock with jazz, classical music and complex, often bizarre time signatures. This is where King Crimson make their grand entrance. A year earlier in 1968, a guitarist named Robert Fripp, along with lyricist Pete Sinfield and a rotating lineup of talented musicians, formed King Crimson. From that very beginning, the band set out to challenge the conventions of rock. And they succeeded in spectacular fashion with their 1969 debut, In the Court of the Crimson King. Now just for a moment, take a look at this album cover. This screaming face is a perfect representation of the music inside. It's chaotic, intense and unsettling. This album was a game changer. This wasn't music you put on at a party, this was music you sat down with. You studied it, you experienced it. The album opens with 21st Century Schizoid Man, a chaotic blend of jazz, rock and freeform improvisation. The song felt like a punch in the face to conventional rock music at the time. Its distorted vocals, frantic drumming and blazing saxophone solos introduced the world to a darker, more intense side of prog. The lyrics? A dystopian vision of the future, filled with war, corruption and societal collapse. Schizoid Man was ahead of its time both musically and politically. It's a perfect marriage of chaos and precision. It sounded like nothing else from 1969. You've got jazz fusion, heavy rock and even proto-metal elements all in one track. No wonder bands like Tool and Nine Inch Nails still cite it as an influence today. But King Crimson wasn't just about musical chaos. In the Court of the Crimson King, it's full of this type of contrast. A track like Epitaph, which is beautifully melancholic and full of foreboding lyrics. The fate of all mankind, I see, is in the hands of fools. It's a sombre, reflective piece, a stark contrast to the aggression of Schizoid Man. Tracks like Epitaph and The Court of the Crimson King set a blueprint for what progressive rock could be. Symphonic, grand and deeply atmospheric. They weren't just writing songs, they were creating these epic, almost cinematic experiences. It is why bands like Genesis and Yes expanded on this template in the years that followed. But here's the thing about King Crimson. They were never content to stay in one place. The band's lineup was constantly evolving, just like their sound. By the mid-70s, King Crimson had gone through several incarnations, with Fripp remaining the only constant. Albums like Larks Tongues in Aspic and Red pushed the boundaries even further into avant-garde territory. Larks Tongues in Aspic, even though the title is a mouthful, was an ambitious album that combined Eastern European folk, free jazz and hardcore improvisation. This wasn't music for the faint of heart. It was complex, abstract and defied any traditional rock formulas. And yet, it's revered as one of the defining albums of the progressive rock genre. Stephen Wilson is quoted as saying, "King Crimson weren't just pushing the boundaries, they were breaking them." Larks Tongue and Aspic and Red influenced an entire generation of musicians. I mean, look at bands like Tool or even parts of Radiohead's catalogue. You can hear King Crimson's DNA all over modern progressive and experimental rock. So even today, King Crimson continues to defy expectations. Their reunion shows in the 2010s proved that the band still have that power to surprise and challenge audiences. The complex rhythms, Fripp's innovative guitar work, and the band's sheer unpredictability. King Crimson has never stopped evolving. But at the centre of it all is the man, Robert Fripp, a true musical visionary. And his legacy isn't just in the albums he's created, but in the countless musicians he's inspired, whether through his groundbreaking work with King Crimson or his influential guitar craft courses. Fripp has changed the way that people think about music. So when we talk about progressive rock, King Crimson isn't just another name on the list. They're the pioneers, the innovators, the band that showed us all what was possible when you dared to experiment, to go beyond the ordinary. Their legacy is cemented in every band that pushes the envelope from prog to metal to everything in between. Drop a comment below with your own feelings, and let's keep the conversation going. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share with someone else who might also enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel to avoid missing future releases. So until next time, keep spinning those albums, and I'll catch you on the flip side.